Okay, it's time for the jury feedback. The jury is composed of four very experienced game developers who have been in the industry for some over a decade. And this feedback, I'm gonna prepare you all, might be harsh. It might be very harsh, but please, this is the feedback that the teams need. If the jury says that the whole game is awesome and they shouldn't change anything, that is feedback that will not send them any further. They need to hear what's wrong and how to fix it, and that's what the jury is here for. So, the jury, I'm gonna invite them one by one on stage, and then they will give feedback to each game and each team. So, ladies first, please welcome Tania Zacharowska. Next up, Tanya has been working on games for over 10 years, probably 15, and has worked in numerous companies. Recently, she was an art director on Galactic Junk League at Pixel Federation, and also does a very nice little environmental game on her own. Next up is Ivan Krechňák. Ivan is the CEO of PowerPlay Studio, one of the companies that offered mentors for the students. And PowerPlay Studio is best known for Biathlon Mania, I think, and Tennis Mania, right? Yeah, let's hope so. And has been on the market. Has it been 10 years already? Yeah, it's been 10 years. So that's Ivan. Okay, next up is Philip Fischer. Philip is one of the co-founders of Pixel Federation, and currently he's the monkey chieftain at Charged Monkey. Yeah, that's about Philip. Okay, finally, Rastro Jelinek. Rastio is a long-time game designer at Pixel Federation, and he was also a mentor at Summer Game Dev last year. Okay, we have the jury here. Let's get to the feedback. So we can go team by team or game by game. So let's start with the first one. Let's start with Ipaka's trial by A team.
Sweet. Okay, so first of all, I think we should say that pretty much every game fulfilled the role or the mission of the vertical slice. So also every game is a platformer. And about this, this is the little Indian game, jumping on the branches. So from the game design and level design perspective, which will be the area I will focus on, this game is quite good. It's a platformer. It was a little bit slow for us. I think there's an area where we need for some tweakings and for some changings in the speed, or also in an area of recognizing where you can or cannot jump. Then the gameplay itself was lacking in an area of like first part of the game was just jumping on the branches, which is not interesting very much, and the main focus of the game must be the focus on changing in the animals, which was not part of the game so far. So but the but the graphics and the team was quite nice, and I think that's area where Tanya will be more focused. So for me, the main issue was basically the very slow, sleepy pace. Okay.
Okay, I'll comment like from as I'm a business guy, so from like an investor's perspective on this. So I would say the game was definitely a vertical slice with nice playable and everything. As Rasto said, I would add to that, like the speed of the game was a bit slow, a bit boring, but still I would see there an opportunity to develop the game farther. And I like the idea of the game. I like the art style, which is different. Like both these two things are definitely like USPs that can be developed. So you'll be able to sell the game a certain way. So yeah, that's for myself.
Well, I think the idea was really good. The native Indians and the spiritual concept which was there, not just shooting from a bow or something. But yeah, there is a lot of work still to do. But I think this really can be done. And I don't think that I can add more that my colleagues already did before.
Yes. Concerning the art style, I think it's quite fresh and unique. What it perhaps needs is more readability in terms of the objects that I can jump on. Still, there are some problems in for a player to know where exactly you can jump onto. We have discussed this, so I think you know what to do in the future. Perhaps also adding some more effects to make it a little bit more alive, and also to make the distinctions between the stuff like the ground that I can walk on, ground that the boulder moves on, and perhaps a bit of unification between the UI, the part that is the menus that are outside of the gameplay, and the visual style of the in-game part. So perhaps you just need to put in some of the uh, more pure visually elements into the game, or pull something out to make it obvious that this is one game, that I'm looking at the menu of this exact game, but otherwise few effects, and I think it's on a good way. Anything else?
Just looking at my notes, I would just comment on the presentation. I would say like you guys were telling us too much about your competitors, which is unnecessary. You just need to mention them because if that's significant, then everybody knows them. Um, and also I would say like in the presentation you could be better at communicating your USPs, like the two things that were mentioned before. That could definitely help.
Another thing about the USPs, USP is changing between the little boy and his spiritual animals. You need to put in a bit more juice into those transformations to make it really satisfying for the player to switch between the animals and the boy.
Yeah, but what's important that I mean, in my company there are 50 people working, and we are not able to create such things in 5 weeks. So it's awesome. I mean, all those little criticisms are not like mean ones. We know that you didn't have much time, and for that 5 weeks, I think you really, all of you, really made a great job.
Thank you. That was Ipaka's trial by A-Team. Next up is from Golden Gat is Mictlan, the pixel art journey through Aztec hell. Please.
Okay. So, and again, the platformer. With this game, I have more issues, and maybe later I will like compare this and another one game, which is here from the point of, oh, that's a hornet, from the point of level design. So basically, as Team told me, this game is aimed for hardcore players, which I'm not sure if it's a very good aim from the beginning of a game. I think game can be suitable for hardcore players, for example, for viral uses like YouTube and to get it spread. But it first of all needs to have the good playable basis. So to say some good stuff, this game is good. It plays good. It's very sharp on controls, and it's like finished game. You can play it, but it lacks the essence, it lacks the stuff you can actually do. Basically, you have just jumping, shooting, slashing, and dash, which is basically a teleport of sorts. But it's very hard to play. It lacks the basic level of enjoyable gameplay, like some story-driven quest line, which anyone can play on some level. Then I think mainly you miss the point about the team of this whole thing, which was a special power, because I see none of special power in this game. So even though you say you have this kind of exorcism, but if you name something a special power, it doesn't make it a special power. So it has no impact on the game, and if you left out the exorcism, it won't change the gameplay at all, I think. So it's not necessary, and therefore it's not there. So, and if you call that the shooting attack of this guy is really nice, it's blue and it's good, it's juicy, but it's not a special power, it's basically shooting in the blue. So I think you miss the special power in this game. Even with the teleport, sort of. Even other games don't have so much focus on the special powers, but they have them at least in some way. I think the problem of this game is mainly, and it's something which I ask you about the level design in the future, because you have this bare bone structure of gameplay, which is challenging, but I don't see the deepness of this level design, or as I told you, something for casual players or more casual players, and something for hardcore players. So if you want to continue with this game, which I think you want, and it's good, you have to aim for this game to actually have some content, some visually attractive content, not just this bare bone jumping.
Yeah, I would maybe mention three things. First one being what Rasta said a bit, like USPs. So there's basically none. Maybe one would be like the Aztec theme, which is not really like something common, but very weakly implemented then, because bricks, like brick environment, is not really Aztec. But yeah, so this part I would try to work on that definitely. Second thing, target audience. So as was mentioned by Rastio, like I mean the game, and in the presentation it was said is mid-core to hardcore. I would totally like scratch both of them and say it's super hardcore, right? Also with the timing mechanics, that was really like something giving a hard time without sort of onboarding that you could get into the game and try it, see how it responds, and then carry on. So that was very, very difficult. And honestly, from a market perspective, like if you do such a game, then your target market will be most probably like 10 players on Steam, which is not something that you can survive with. So, and third, to the presentation, I would say in general, it's a good point to start with a game trailer. So before you start mentioning what's the game about and what are the features and blah, 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 then everybody has a very particular picture in his head, like this is the game. And if you start describing the game and then you go to trailer or intro, then everybody has a picture in the game and you destroy it with the intro or the trailer. So do it the opposite way. Then you don't have to spend so much time explaining about the actual game and gameplay because people saw it just a few seconds ago. The trailer, I know you have very little time to do that, but the trailer is really boring. Like scrolling one texture and then you get even distracted by reading the text. That's definitely not a good thing to do. And I would definitely cut the part where you present the team for a really long time. Unless you have someone like Romero on team, you don't have to really like go to too many details, right? You wanna like say who is the bunch of guys doing the game, but don't spend too much time on it.
Well, for me, that game had a like most complex feeling from gaming. I mean, it was like almost complete game. We just need more levels. But what I definitely would do if you plan to go on with the game, to change the controls. It's really, really, really hard to control with together mouse with the keyboard and the different keys, and it's really hard to do. And if that should be the meaning of hardcore, I think that would be more complicated for the players than a real hardcore issue. So I would really change that.
Yeah, in terms of the visuals, I would really go much more for the exploitation of the Mesoamerican theme. And also, I would try to make the controls clearer, stuff we talked about a week ago. Um, about the time, the energy, the companion. Perhaps you could lose the ball of fire that's haunting my head and put it somewhere else. You could even have something, a tiara on the head or whatever, but make it really functional. Um, we talked about that. Make the thing that drags your attention the most important part of the gameplay, not an arbitrary thing. So you need to work on that, and perhaps also when you work on the intro, unify the intro with the game, and also try to use that space of the intro to introduce the whole thing about the energy or whatever you choose to be your unique selling point. You have Aztecs and Mayas had practically comic books carved in stone. Use that. Use it perhaps with specific game design elements in the levels. So the art in the empty space of now the brick walls will tell you what to do, and try to really clean up the UI, make it really really sensible and useful for the player, not because you have an idea in your head what the player should see, but really ask your player what they need to see, where they need to see it, and try to communicate the important stuff from the gameplay in a readable way for the player. Yeah. Um, also make the levels more interesting, because the brick wall is just boring. But you can play with that with the theme, with all the carvings and the drawn alphabet. Yeah. Anything else? No.
That was team 2. Now, the team number 3, which is called Studio, and their game Professor's Hidden Dimension. Please.
Okay, so I suppose we should speed it up a little bit. Okay, so this was a really beautiful looking game. It's a shame you don't know the game Another World, because we do. And it was the first that I was thinking about. So basically, another platformer. I think I really like it. I don't think there is something that I would specifically say I don't like. There are some other issues with that, which my colleague will mention. So I think this game has a really big potential towards the level design, with the slow time and the teleport mechanics. If you fix the teleport mechanics, which is right now a little bit glitchy, and if you don't fry your notebook playing this game, I think it has a good potential visually and gameplay style.
Yeah, in terms of business, I would say I really like the gameplay because it was fluent. It has nice pace, so the overall feeling was positive. Um, I liked the trailer for the game really much because it has it sold me to the game. In the end, I was a bit disappointed that there was a conflict lacking in the end. So it was nice, building up gradually, and then kind of stopped just before it would tell me like what's the conflict about. But that can be added. You should have used the same art style as in the game. Of course, I know maybe I would just relate to it as a sort of a storyboard or animatic for a really game trailer. But it was nice. I liked it. So yeah, that's for myself.
When I started to play, the first seconds, I just thought that that's really not a great game because of the teleport issue I constantly had. But then with some time, I saw the time tweak part where you can slow down time and the effects, and I think they were really great and very interesting part of the game. And the general art was really is really actually is really good. And one thing which I would definitely do with that game, I would think about the more deeper story than this one, because if you, for example, shoot at some red points, it's losing meaning, and the players need to personal to find them in the game, and to personalize themselves into the game. And if you shoot just the red points, you simply miss it. But generally, very good and well done.
Yeah. Uh, in terms of the art style, I would just stress unify the intro and the actual levels. Uh, you can introduce the red dots in the intro, or try to leave some clues so that the player really understands that, okay, this was really an intro to this game, apart from the math physics student. So try to work on that. Try to make all the visual elements make sense to the player, make sense with the story. So uh, really, you need to decide why there is that bloody dragon. Does it have to be there? Does it have to be a dragon? Why does it look the way it does? You need to really make for the art style to work and for the elements to work. It should all make sense. It shouldn't be just it should be consistent. It shouldn't be just arbitrarily dropped because we made this a month ago and we're really sorry to part with it, so we just put it in there. Uh, that's not a good approach. uh, so try to have everything make sense, and also try to make all the clues make sense. So that if there is a checkpoint where I step on something and it lights up, I should learn somewhere that, okay, this is what happened. It's not a trap. It's not going to break down. This is what always happens when I step on a checkpoint. And make all the clues, all the gameplay parts, and all the interactive parts really stick out to the player and work consistently throughout the game. Also in terms of color coding and stuff like that, which you already know. So
Thank you. That was Team 3. Now let's get to the final team. That's Team 4 with Escape from Valhalla by Team Droger.
Well, this game was working, which is good, and that's about it. It was kind of a joke of a game, like we are waging on this one joke which is kind of inappropriate, which can be really good, but I think you kind of missed it. There is great opportunity to making fun of Vikings and everything, but this was something like half done and mostly not. So yeah, it's a platformer. It has no interesting mechanics like sending kisses. Fine, it's basically shooting with a stun, and then the hugging, which doesn't worked when I played it pretty so good. So there was like this. I tried and it doesn't work. I had to go closer, and but maybe people will get used to it. But basically, it missed the point. I don't get any superpowers or something. Like the minimalism was maybe in the Paint graphic, but like the MS Paint graphics. Um, but basically, it was kind of weak concept, and even the joke was not in a good style or whatever. I don't know. Like it was definitely the weakest, I must say. But I'm all for bad jokes, but this one missed me. So
Yeah. So I have basically maybe like 4 points. First one is like I like the idea because it's crazy, it's different. Yeah, it's humorous. So what do you want more? Unfortunately, it was a bit poorly executed. Second thing, gameplay. The game just does not give me feedback what I'm doing. Like I'm missing the point, right? Pressing something and it's nothing happens. Nothing tells me like you're doing good or bad, right? So the kind of feedback that the player needs in order to learn was missing for me. It was hard to understand. When you mentioned third thing, like your target audience is casual to mid-core, then you need to really, really work well on your onboarding and the first mission and how you introduce the mechanics in the game, which was missing. And fourth point would be then in regards to the trailer, which had a story that kind of tried to explain, but the trailer didn't explain it really well. So I was kind of lost in between, like when I didn't see when the guy actually was in a fight and died, and what happened afterwards. So that was really not really good depicted.
Well, a lot of criticism from my colleagues, but still, for example, I liked the introduction video. Yeah, the end was not maybe finished, but the art was very nice, so I like that part. I mean, generally, what was the major issue for me? The fighting with the hacks, which was very complicated to do, and then I was it was very hard for me. I was not able to win the fights, and I asked one of the team members, how is that I am losing? And then he said that you need to collect the rainbow parts to be stronger and to win. And that means that at the beginning of the game, you are when you are the weakest player, actually, because you don't know the game yet, then it's tough. And then with the winnings, it's easier, and that's not okay. You should have it different. You should start easily and then make it harder, harder, harder to play on. If you start like this, that's very bad.
Yeah. In terms of the visuals, with the intro and with the whole execution of the joke, it really works like a caricature or a drawn joke. It all stands and falls on the execution. So if you we've talked about this, if you communicate a pacifist with the largest fists in the game, I'm not buying it because he is aggressive with the huge fists. If you want to make a flying kiss, it really has to have this elegance and a pun in the animation. So if you want to make it about the joke has to be exquisitely executed so it has elegance and it's to the point and nothing breaks it, because one bad line can break a joke. And in terms of the intro, if you're communicating a story where the main point is the guy dies, you need to communicate the point that he dies in a way that everybody understands he dies, not that he closes his eyes and then he opens them and he's resurrected. We don't know what happened because I'm not dead at the moment, and everybody knows that because I closed my eyes. So you need to make that moment, the slap in the face with the log, needs to be visible. The moment where those guys kill him needs to be visible. It needs to be perfectly clear, and the same thing goes for the game. You need to see that it really is a hug. It's not some kind of a strange cramp with the huge fists, because then the whole joke it's built on just crumbles like a house of cards. So play with the execution, play with the puns, and really push them to the moment where they really, really work if someone looks at them. In terms of the controls, they need to be really legible to the player. You need to know that something is about time. You need to know that this rainbow reacts to my pressing the H button. You need to know that right now the guy is going to wake up from the stun. So leave clues to the players so that they actually know what's happening in the game. Use effects, use visual clues, use animations. They need to know what's going on, because otherwise their feeling is that the game is broken. And that's about it. But yeah, I think there is potential, but you need to polish, and polish so it really works like a political cartoon or something like that.
That was feedback for Team 4. Some of it was harsh. I just have to remind you all, especially the students, that the jury basically summed up how you can fix your games if they're broken. And that's the most important thing you get today. Thank you, jury. Well, the most important thing you got is the jury feedback, but what about some other stuff? Let's get to the award ceremony. Okay, award ceremony, yay. The audience award. So, everyone voted, we counted, and for the audience award, I would like to Miss Lachova to come on stage, who is from Microstep MIS. Here. So, for the audience award, Microstep MIS has provided some hardware that will help the winning team in further development. It's 3 Xbox gamepads, there's 1 Wacom graphics tablet, and there's also a very lovely gaming keyboard and a mouse. There's 1 piece of hardware for everyone. So, please, the audience award goes to, a little drum roll, please. Professor's Hidden Dimension. The whole team on stage, please. Here's the certificate. And každý zoberte jeden kus. The audience award. If you would like to say a few quick words, you can. So please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, I guess. Thank you.
And lastly, I would like to thank you all for voting and playing our game, and I would like to thank my team once again for doing a great job.
That is not everything. We had a last-minute addition, a goodies package from SAS Slovakia. Please.
First of all, I would like to say that you did a really great job, and based on this feedback of the commission, you still have time to did some edits on the bugs, and you have time to put your game to the Steam or another platform and be successful. So I hope that you will be successful and you will be in the gaming industry. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. You can take a seat. Now for the jury award, there will also be 2 prizes, but unfortunately the sponsors are not present, so I will be the one giving out the prizes. So first of all, from the Slovak Society of Computer Science, 3 tickets to Game Developer Session 2018. It's a very lovely event in Prague that's happening in early December. And this is a perfect opportunity for the winning team to present their game, because there's also going to be a stand where they can show their game to, just like they did today. They can show it to a lot of game developers. I think there's like 1,000 people attending, so it's like 5, maybe 6 times bigger than this event. And yeah, that's it. So the jury award, you have heard the feedback, so you might have it. Maybe I shouldn't have sent the team down, because it goes to professors in the dimension. Would you like to say a few more words? Okay, no more words. Very well, that's not it. There's also the next prize, which is also very important, and it's coverage by sector, the biggest gaming portal in Slovakia, and this is for later stages of your game. Do not use it now. Let your game get to a much better. I hope that you will continue working on it. Let it get to a much better stage, a much more polished stage, and then this can be a very important boost for you in terms of marketing and visibility. So, sector award. Thank you. You can take a seat. But wait, there's more. No, you can take a seat. Yeah. Everybody gets a prize, because no, the biggest prize you actually got was jury feedback, but also that you worked for 5 weeks as game developers. And the truth is that you now are game developers, because you all have successfully created a game. And I mean, sure, it's not earning any money right now, but it's not very far from it. And you have shown your skills to some very interesting mentors and a very interesting jury, and this might be your door to the games industry. So, you all will get a certificate, so please, everybody, all participants, come on stage. You have to find your name, so it's gonna take a while. Just distribute it, please. At least we can get a very nice group photo right now. Okay, this certifies that you are all game developers and should earn huge amounts of money. No, wait, that's some other business. No, I hope that this certificate and these 5 weeks that you've all spent together and invested in yourself. Yeah, I mean, you could be at a pool party right now, drinking some mixed beverages and so on, but you decided to invest it in yourselves. So congratulations, because you did a very important step for you. and your future. Finally, wait, there's more. All of you get a yearly subscription to the PC Review magazine, so please distribute it. There's a lot of you, and just take one, there's no names on it. But wait, there's even more. I know it's like the joke got old like two times before I said it. So, yeah. Finally, thanks to our lovely friends at the Game Developers Session, each of the teams that didn't win the jury award also gets one ticket to GDS and will have a place at the Indie Expo, so every team can actually present. So please, for the team leads who didn't win the jury award, each of you get a ticket, and you definitely should go. Well, no, you must go. If you don't, I'm gonna find you. Yeah, just come there, show your game. Okay, now really there isn't anything else left to say. Only thank you and for the amazing 5 weeks. And see you at the after party, which started 8 minutes ago. So if you can travel in time, you can be there on time. Don't worry, the free drinks are gonna wait for you. It's limited, but please don't like come there and order 20 beers at once, okay? Just so that everybody can have something. One special mention, 2 of the participants, I'm not gonna show which 2, but you should ask every participant before buying them beer or whatever if they really are of age. So if they have 18 years, because 2 of the participants don't have. And please, we don't want to give alcoholic beverages to minors. Seriously, like don't do it, okay? Seriously, ask everyone. Okay, Black Ink Bar at Dunajska 12. It's like a 7-minute walk from here, and I'm sure you could all use a bit of fresh air. See you there.